So interesting thing about these two more affordable phones from Samsung, even though one is quite a bit more expensive, I feel like there's more in common between these two than you would think. So today we're comparing the Galaxy A14 5G and the A54 5G. The Galaxy A14 is going to be pretty much what you would call entry level at $199, where the A54 is more than double the price at $449 in the United States. Of course, you're going to have trade-in deals or other sales going on where you could get them a little bit cheaper. Storage options are going to be 64 gigabytes for the A14, 128 for the A54. Mine comes with 4 gigabytes of RAM since I'm in the United States, and then 6 gigabytes for the A54, but I believe there's some other higher options in other parts of the world. And then screen size on these two are going to be somewhat close, although the A14 is a little bit larger. You get a 6.6 inch LCD display on the A14 with 1080 by 2408 resolution versus a little smaller 6.4 inch Super AMOLED display on the A54 with 1080 by 2348 resolution. So on paper they sound pretty similar, but in person you're going to see quite a bit of difference in screen quality, viewing angles. The A54 is also brighter and just looks better in just about every way possible. You'll also notice a little bit bigger bezel on the top and bottom for the A14 compared to the A54 as well. But having said that, the A14 does look a little bit better than you would expect. You can also watch Netflix and full HD playback resolution, and then upscaled 1440p for YouTube videos, 2160p or 4K resolution on the A54. Battery life on these are actually really good as well. 9 hours in my battery drain test for the A14, but over 15 hours on the Galaxy A54, and both are tested at 100% screen brightness, and it's a little more extreme than just your normal usage. But the A54 is definitely going to be one of the best that I've tested on the channel. You also get up to 15 watt charging for the A14, 25 watts on the A54. So if you want the phone with better battery life, you'll want to go with the A54. And then when it comes to software, both of these are on Android 13, One UI 5 for the A14, One UI 5.1 for the A54. There's actually a lot of similarities between these two, as you can see just moving around the software. In fact, you're only going to notice a few small differences or extras for the A54 that you don't get on the A14, but nothing that's really a deal breaker in my opinion. Just things like link to Windows, screen recorder, smart view are a few things I don't see on the A14, but they're on the A54. But both phones are going to have things like NFC, quick share, nearby share, and you're not going to get things like Samsung DeX on either phone. Fingerprint scanner is going to be a little bit different on these two. You've got it on the power button for the A14, and then built into the screen for the A54. You're also going to have the choice of Google Discover or Samsung Free left of the home screen. For some reason they call it Samsung O on the A54. Not really sure why they keep changing the name, but okay. Another difference with the software is going to be you get 4 years of major software updates for the A54, only 2 years for the A14. As far as performance goes, the A14 has a MediaTek Dimensity 700 processor versus an Exynos 1380 in the Galaxy A54. If you compare the Geekbench result, you're going to see there's quite a bit of difference here. We're talking about twice the performance on the A54 over the A14. It's probably not going to feel like twice the performance just moving around the software, doing some of the more basic things, but you may notice the A14 is a little more sluggish or might take a little longer to load things when compared to the A54. No big surprise here, but if you want the phone with better performance, you'll want to go with the Galaxy A54. Sort of the same story when it comes to gaming. The A54 is going to load games a little faster, have better graphics, higher frame rates, but both phones are still fun to game on, and I think the A14 has just enough power to play some of the more popular games, maybe just not quite as good or as smooth as the A54. One thing you do get on the A14 that you don't get on the A54 is going to be a headphone jack. Not a deal breaker since most people are using Bluetooth headphones nowadays. You'll also notice the speakers are quite a bit louder on the A54 since you only have one bottom firing speaker on the A14. But here's a quick sample of each just to give you an idea of what they sound like.
Tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and Gotta stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away, as you fade away, as you fade away, as you fade away.
Another interesting thing about these two is when it comes to the cameras, they both have a triple camera setup on the back, and they both even have a 50 megapixel main lens, but then you've got a 12 megapixel ultra wide on the A54 with a 5 megapixel macro lens versus only 2 megapixel macro lens and 2 megapixel depth lens on the A14. The other big difference on the front is going to be the front facing cameras. You'll notice it's a teardrop style on the A14, hole punch style on the A54. 13 megapixel front facing camera on the A14 versus 32 megapixel on the A54. So yeah, you're going to be able to get a little better photos on the A54, and you can even shoot up to 4K resolution, 30 frames per second versus only 1080p on the A14. Here's a quick sample of each just to give you an idea of what to expect. So as you can see, there are some things a little closer than you might think between these two Samsung phones. I know which one I would choose, since obviously the Galaxy A54 is definitely going to be the better phone, but the A14 might be just good enough for some people. So hopefully this video gave you a little closer look at the Galaxy A14 and the A54. Just really depends what you're looking for and what kind of features you need. I might have to do some more comparisons with each of these, and of course I'll be doing some more tablet videos as well, so you'll definitely want to look out for those upcoming videos. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.